So good day, sir. Good day, classmates. I am Eve M. Gangoso and I'm tasked to report about the topic gray water reuse systems. So here we have the list of the topics. First, chapter 15.7, we have gray water reuse systems. We have the gray water and black water, gray water reuse, gray water diversion devices, gray water treatment system, and gray water use regulations. For chapter 15.8, we have the alternative wastewater treatment systems. We have the PV or latrine, and we have the composting toilets, the bi-level composting toilets, self-contained composting toilets, the incinerating toilet, and the holding tanks. First, let's talk about gray water and black water. What is gray water? So, gray water, or it can also be spelled like GREYWATER, is untreated wash water from bathtubs, showers, lavatory fixtures, and clothes washing machines. Although no longer portable, it is water that is relatively free of toilet waste. So, although gray water will contain bacterial contamination, example of this is the total and fecal coliforms and heterotrophic plate count HPC bacteria. From normal bathing and washing of underwear and diapers, it does not contain bacterial contamination at the same level as does water with toilet waste. About 50 to 80% of domestic wastewater is gray water. So, the use of gray water. An obvious use of gray water is that it may potentially replace treated tap water used for landscape irrigation. It may benefit plants because it often contains nutrients such as nitrogen or phosphorus. Gray water use also helps overtax municipal wastewater treatment plants because gray water use diminishes sewer flows, thereby lessening the need to overwork or expand such treatment facilities. So basically, this is gray water. Here is the environmental benefits. Treated gray water, then have the treated gray water. So basically, gray water is described as gently used wastewater that comes from sources such as bathroom, kitchen, and laundry. It is relatively clean and cannot be compared with the water from toilets. So this is not the water from toilets. Mamaya i-discuss natin ano yung tawag sa water from toilets. So generally, any water that is drained from the house other than toilet water can be described as gray water. It may also contain traces of food, grease, hair, dirt, or particularly household cleaning products. So, as much as it may look dirty, gray water can be reused for other purposes and does not necessarily have to be disposed of into the sewerage system as other types of wastewater do. This means that it is not really wastewater, but could be repurposed for safe and beneficial uses such as yard irrigation. It therefore serves to substitute fresh water for some purposes, thus allowing for water conservation as well as reducing the amount of water that is sent into the sewage system for treatment. So basically, gray water does not include the discharge sa toilet or fecally contaminated wastewater of any kind. Gray water is ideal for garden watering with the appropriate precautions such as using low or no sodium and phosphorus products and applying the water below the surface. Appropriately treated gray water can also be used indoors for toilet flushing and clothes washing, both significant water consumers. So, yan siya. So, basically, ang gray water, muna siya ang mga water sa, sa mga, kanang sa sink, murag kanang gasa na tong plato, mga ana, usay mga contain siya foods, mga grease, mga dirt, pero ginatreat ang gray water para naana po siya purpose. So basically, ang purpose aning gray water is that makakonserve siya og water. Syempre kita kung halimbawa, for example, gamit ag water sa other activities like for example mag car wash or mga kanang mangdilig, di ba? Usually atong ginagamit na water is katong clean water man jud. So instead na clean water nga kanang sige tag kuan og water nga nang murag nang sige na gud tagpabaya sa water, sige agas ang water ana. Ang naay nabuhat ang mga tao nga kanang gray water, so i-treat ng gray water which is mga naay mga dirt siya gikan na siya sa nagamit na pud nato na water, i-treat na siya or i-disinfect tapos para mawala ang bacteria o katong mga solid waste na kasama sa water, mao na siya i-treat siya para magamit na pud usab ang water. So di ba murag mas makatipid ta ana, murag it's way of conserving water good na. So karon gina-promote ba na to ang mag-conserve of water good. Mao na siya ang purpose sa gray water. Next, as what I had said earlier nga na ay ang gray water dili na siya mao ang toilet water. Ang gray water can also be bathroom water, like kanang pang shower na to, pwede mo na to na siya. Ay, pang shower na to, dili man na siya same sa toilet water nga katong naagod sa toilet nga water, like for example, ang dumi sa tao dito, di ba, kadto sa toilet. So ang bathroom water mo na siya kanang mao pang shower nga flow lang gud siya directly sa floor. Mao na siya ang bathroom water, so different siya sa toilet water. So as what I had said earlier nga naatay toilet water nga ginatawag. So mao ni siya ang black water. So what is black water? Black water contains toilet waste. For example, the feces, the cellulose from toilet paper, and nitrogen compounds from water closets, toilets, urinals, and bidet. So black water may also carry hazardous chemicals from activities such as cleaning car parts, washing. Black water can also be hazardous chemical from activities such as cleaning car parts, washing greasy or oily rugs, or disposing of waste solutions from home, photo labs, or similar hobbyist activities. So, gray water versus black water. A significant difference between black water and gray water is in the rate of decay of the pollutants in each. The pollutants in gray water decompose rapidly. For example, fecal matter from underwear and diapers washed in a clothes washing machine breaks down, exposing potential pathogens to detergent. So, naadre picture nga difference niya ang clean water, gray water, ug ang black water. So, kaning black water, this is the toilet water, mostly contaminated na siya nga water with toxic chemicals and na mo na siya. Next, we have So as what I had said earlier, black water is a contaminated water with toxic chemicals and our excrement. Next, we have so basically, gray water does not include the discharge of toilet, di ba? As what I had said earlier. So, ang gray water, pwede siya sa gardening, pwede po siya ipang sa mga car wash, na different ka siya sa black water. Kaya ang black water daw, gingon diri nga hazardous daw siya from cleaning car parts. Kung hazardous siya from cleaning car parts, unsa na lang jud kung igamit ito siya sa gardening. In contrast with gray water, black water is wastewater from toilets. Black water can be used for irrigation and other uses, but only after extensive and careful treatment to remove or nullify the harmful pathogens and bacteria. Ang black water po, biskan hugaw siya, pwede gyapon na nila matreat gyapon na siya sa mga tao, na ay system ng makatreat ana. Pero naalang siya mga gamit na naalang siya places or events na pwede na to gamiton ang black water. For example, sa irrigation, but it can only be used after extensive and careful treatment. Although the level of the contamination of gray water is low in comparison to black water, concerns about health and public safety needed to be managed, especially those related to the potential for transmission of disease. Both black water and gray water, they were both invented para ang mga systems na buhat para they are both kanang gibuhat sila para maka-conserve og water, but both of them could only be used pag grabe na gyud extensive cleaning and treatment na gyud ang nabutang sa ilaha, for kay syempre harmful man, syempre iwas diseases na pod. So next we have the gray water reuse. What is gray water reuse? Depending on health regulation, technology for gray water reuse can be as simple as saving rainwater from bathing and clothes washer to rather complex treatment systems such as one in which the gray water flows to an aerobic treatment unit, then to a recirculating filter. Gray water needs to be filtered to remove waste particles before being used or treated. This primary treatment will reduce the solids in the wastewater. Once coarse filtered, gray water may be treated using a sand filter. The basic structure in a waterproof box filled with coarse sand laid over a gravel bed. Gray water flows in at the top and out of the bottom. A number of commercial sand filters are available. With beds and sand filters treat the wastewater through filtration and some biological nutrient uptake. Gray water needs to be pre-treated to allow removal of large particles or else clogging will occur and the lifetime of the system will be reduced. Secondary treatment removes pollutants from the remaining liquid. Treated gray water has had most nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus removed, so it is safer to use in large quantities. The amount and quality of gray water will to a certain extent determine how it can be reused. Gray water is commonly used for irrigation. Untreated gray water can only be reused for subsurface irrigation. Treated gray water can be reused for either subsurface or above ground irrigation. Only treated and disinfected gray water should be used for above ground irrigation because the potential presence of pathogens. So basically, as what I had said earlier, gray water needs to be filtered. So, naay kanang isa ka pa maagi para ma-filter ning gray water, para ma-treat ning gray water. Mao ning ginatawag na filtration. So, para ma-remove ang large waste katong mga solid waste sa gray water, gina-filter siya para maging murag makuha na gud siya, murag tawagan na medyo maglimpyo-limpyo gud siya. Tapos pwede na siya magamit sa mga gardening, pwede na nato siya magamit usab. So once coarse filtered, gray water may be treated using a sand filter. So pwede sand filter ang gamiton para mag-filter o gray water. So wait lang. Diba giingon dire nga only treated and disinfected gray water should be used for above ground irrigation because of the potential presence of pathogen. So why do we need to disinfect the gray water? So disinfection is required for general use of gray water. All disinfections requires regular maintenance. Chlorine is most commonly used for disinfection, but it has been found to have adverse environmental impacts. Ultraviolet UV or ozone disinfection can be used in place of chlorination. So chlorine ang number 1 na ginagamit, pero marag nakita nila nga naa daw ni kanang marag adverse environmental impact gani. So they have invented the UV ultraviolet or ozone disinfection that can be used in place of chlorination. So we need to treat or disinfect the gray water because the health effect of use of untreated gray water directly on edible vegetable plants has not been fully researched. So I searched sa Google mga a week ago kung sa ba jud ang kung pwede ba jud ang gray water sa kanang mga vegetable. So naa dito yung mga website nga nagaingon nga pwede, naa pa uban website na gaingon nga dili. Kaya syempre wala sila kabalo nga kung murag wala pa guys study na nabuo nga murag nagapamatuod nga ang gray water safe siya para i-bash siya gani isa ka ng mga vegetable. Tapos di ba ang vegetable kay ginakaon man jud na sa tao. So wala pa yung murag study nga nagpamatuod jud nga safe ang gray water for kanang vegetable plants. The use of gray water for irrigation of vegetable gardens should be avoided if vegetables will be eaten raw or lightly cooked. So siguro pwede man siguro siya ibutang kung treated na gid kayo ang gray water, but dili siya pwede kanang ang vegetable, dili mo siya pwede ibutang sa vegetable miskan treated siya kung slightly cook lang gud mo ang vegetable. Siyempre kay basig na apay bacteria, miscantreated na ana siya. Ragi nga na ang nabasa na ko. So, next we have the gray water diversion devices. Gray water diversion devices do not treat gray water but use it directly as irrigation water. Gray water is piped to outdoor vegetation through subsurface irrigation lines. Human contact with gray water must be avoided to prevent human exposure. A soil barrier of at least 4 inches or 100 millimeters must separate the surface from the subsurface irrigation lines. There are two types of diversion devices, the gravity diversion devices and the pump diversion devices. So the gravity diversion device. A gravity diversion device is a fitting configuration that diverts gray water from a plumbing fixtures directly to an irrigation line. A solid gray water diversion valve is designed to fit under a laundry sink. A hose extends from the valve out through the wall of the building and is linked to a garden hose, which is then connected to a slow-release soaker hose. It can then be easily turned off to allow soapy wash water to go down a conventional drain line and on to use the rinse of water for irrigation. So next we have the pump diversion device. A pump diversion device has a similar irrigation piping arrangement to the gravity diversion device, but includes a surge tank to temporarily store and limit the flow of gray water during sudden surge. The surge tank should be capable of momentarily storing a volume of water equivalent to the emptying discharge of fixtures connected to it. However, it should not serve as a storage tank. The surge tank should be fitted with a high-level alarm to warn of pump failure or system blockage. So we have a pump diversion device. It incorporates a surge tank. A surge tank to cope with sudden influxes of gray water for distribution of the gray water directly to a subsurface irrigation system in the garden. The surge tank does not operate as a storage tank. So the surge what I had said earlier that the surge tank should be fitted with a high water level alarm to warn of pump failure of some. It should not serve as a storage tank. Siya. Gravity diversion device and the pump diversion device. The gray water treatment systems. Gray water treatment system (GTS) are more complex systems that collect, store, and treat gray water to a quality standard for irrigation and/or sewage processing flushing toilets. A GTS includes components such as wetlands, intermittent sand filters, soil filters, gray water septic tanks, and aerated wastewater treatment systems. So gray water treatment systems. A GTS requires separate black water and gray water waste lines. Separation of lines is achieved through the use of two independent plumbing arrangements. Plumbing configuration should not allow contamination by waste from the toilet, cause undesirable odors, and result in aesthetic degradation of yards and gardens. So ang GTS daw, it separates the black water and gray water waste lines. So plumbing configuration should not allow contamination by waste from the toilet, cause undesirable. Kaya kung ang plumbing configuration should not allow contamination by waste from the toilet, it can cause odors, manggod, and result in aesthetic degradation. So pangit siya tanawon of yards and gardens. So pangit siya tanawon sa yards and sa gardens. So kaning gray water treatment system, this is more complex kaysa sa gray water diversion devices. Mas complex siya nga treatment. Ay, complex siya nga system. So, gray water treatment. Next, these are the commercially available gray water treatment systems. This includes the bioseptic delimited air-watered wastewater treatment systems, what works, free water saver, rain reviva, eco wastewater recycling systems, Libus, Multrum gray water pre-filter, Go, plastics gray water reuse unit. Next, we have the gray water reuse regulations. Ay, wait lang. May ano pa pala, may explain pa pala. guys. So, di ba, naatay treatment and treat gray water to a quality standard for irrigation and or sewage processing, flushing toilets. Adjectives include such as wetlands, sand soil, gray water septic tanks, and water treatment system. So we have this treatment dahil nga called na sewage treatment system. So unsa ba ning sewage treatment system? So it works by breaking down solid waste to produce a cleaner, more environmentally friendly effluent. So what is this effluent? This is the liquid waste or sewage discharged into a river or the sea. So wastewater and sewage are supplied to the primary tank where the solids and liquids disperse. The resulting liquor flows into the biozone chamber. In the chamber, a pump airs the wastewater and encourages friendly bacteria to condense the organic matter. This breaks down and purifies the result. So, as it leaves the final waste chamber, the waste left over is 95% clean and ready for dispersal into local just so we have one of the system ang ginagamit sa gray water para matreat siya is the sewage treatment system. So pag na-treat na ang water gamit ang sewage treatment system, as it leaves the final waste chamber, the waste left over is 95% clean and ready for dispersal into local ditches. So why it is important to have gray water treatment systems? So this is particularly important when kitchen wastes are part of the gray water flow. So as what I had said earlier, ang gray water including na siya tong kanang tubig nga gigamit nato sa paghugas ko na tong mga plato. So garbage disposals are strongly discouraged as they stress the conventional septic systems and provide an extremely highly amount of solid to a system designed to handle only gray water. If a garbage disposal is installed, it should be plumbed as part of the black water system. So kung why it is said that gray water treatment system is important kay katong mga mga katong tubig na gigamit ato paghugas og paghugas og plato is that naamag siya mga solid waste. So mao na kailangan nato siya nga kanang in order para sa gray water na ma-use siya ulit, it will be filtered. Tapos para mabilin tong solids para mahawa tong solid tas ang mabili na lang is katong pure water nga safe na siya o pwede na siya treated water nga safe na o pwede na siya magamit usab. So, ginaingon diri nga ang garbage disposals are strongly discouraged as they stress the conventional septic system and provide an extremely high amount of solids to a system designed to handle only gray water. So, mao to siya. So, if a garbage disposal is installed, it should be plumbed as part of the black water system. So, kung apil na ang garbage disposal dito, dili na siya masali sa gray water. It can also be, dapat dito na siya nabilong sa black water system. Next, we have the gray water reuse regulations. We have the regulations affecting use of gray water vary from state to state and from municipality to municipality within the same state. In many locations, gray water use is not approved because it is assumed to carry pathogenic disease-causing bacteria and other hazardous pollutants. In jurisdictions where a gray water system are permitted, they are strictly regulated. In many cases, they must meet all designs and construction standards for OSSP septic systems. So disadvantage include cost for additional equipment and the requirement of gaining approval of a septic system. As codes are revised, a septic tank may not be required for disposal of gray water only. An approved filter system may be used in place of the septic tank as long as no garbage disposal waste or waste from toilet enters the gray water disposal center. Muna akong ginaingon ganina nga kung ang garbage disposal kay siya kanang murag apil siya kung naagoy garbage disposal na na-install. So it should be plumbed as part of the black water system. So dili na siya pwede nga masali sa gray water system kay murag mahimo siyang kanang delikado na gud ang murag madelikado gud ang tubig kung naapay garbage disposal. So Unapproved filter systems may be used in place of the septic tank as long as no garbage disposal waste or waste from toilet enters the gray water disposal system. So, di ba naaman tayo gray water disposal system? Pag naay garbage, kanang murag naay ano dito kanang garbage disposals, murag dapat separated gud siya sa gray water system. Ang gray water na treat na siya, katong gray water dito nga na treat na, murag mahaluan na pud siya garbage if kanang dili gud siya i-separate, murag nga na ang pasabot niya. So if a garbage disposal waste or liquid waste from a composting toilet enters the gray water disposal system, the gray water must be treated before discharge. So ang gray water nga na-treat na, i-treat na pud siya balik kung naapoy garbage disposal dito nga tupad. So the conventional treatment method, a septic tank large enough to provide at least a 2-day retention time, allows grease to cool, solidify, and flow to the top. So mo na siya. Next, we have the alternative wastewater treatment systems. So what is alternative wastewater treatment system? So an alternative system is generally required for sites where the conditions are not suitable for a standard septic tank and gravity drain field system. So these systems do not use water to treat or transport human body wastes. Namo na siya. So constructed mo na siya ang example. So alternative wastewater treatment systems are served as an option for the sewage treatment systems described previously as what katong muna ko sa inyo ganina nga sewage treatment system. They may be required because one of the systems described earlier cannot be used or because they are too costly. So syempre kung magamit ka gray water system, syempre need pa man nimo dag mga equipment o mga unsa-unsa pa material, syempre costly gid siya pero at least makatipid kag water, di ba? So these systems do not use water to treat or transport human body waste. If appropriately designed, they conserve water and avoid disposal of effluent and pollutants into waterways and the general environment. So kani siya, these systems do not use water to treat or transport human body waste. So kaning alternative wastewater treatment system, ang dili na siya magamit kung naay mga human or body waste kani katubigan gud sa toilet, tong toilet water na akong ginaingon. So this is only for kanang siguro this is only for the alternative lang siya dito sa sewage treatment system. Kay itong sewage treatment system costly siya since it needs large equipments, mga materials na. Next we have the PV or the latrine. So one of the oldest and most basic methods of wastage water is the pit preview or latrine. A pit dug below an outflow structure that collects human body waste. Liquid waste sip into the soil and percolate through the soil. Solid waste remains and partially decomposed so that pit becomes full over several years, depending on the size and the number of users. So when the waste in the pit reach a certain depth from the ground surface, the pit is cleaned out of the outhouse. Outhouse is moved to another location and the pit is covered with earth. So the pit is covered with soil. So cleaning the pit is an unpleasant job and may result in exposure to fresh fecal materials. So may explain ko kung unsa ni siya ang example aning mga PV and latrine. So in long-term installations, a good arrangement is to plan for at least 2 pits. When the first pit is full, the outhouse structure is moved to the second pit and the first or is covered with earth and allowed to compose. When the second pit is full, the first pit is cleaned out and the slab and the outhouse structures are moved back over the first pit. The second pit is covered and allowed to compose. Privy may not be an approved alternative waste treatment system. This system should only be used for the disposal of human body waste in extremely remote locations or undeveloped areas. In some cases, however, health authorities in undeveloped countries allow such installation. As a result, it is discussed. So, kaning privy or latrine kay kanini siya ang di ba as what sa black water kay di ba i-treatment tong black water di ba ang black water contains man sa mga human ano gud nato mga kanang kumbaga toilet water siya ba kanang mga pagbawas sa tao ana good contain siya to pero diri sa privy at latrine ang ang human waste kay pwede na siya ibutang na lang siya maghukay na lang gani ang tao tapos dito na lang ibutang ang waste, pero it needs good arrangement kay kung dili siya na wala siya kung wala siya good arrangement murag dili man sa ano pero murag unpleasant lang siya kay kanang murag ikaw nga tao mismo na kay direct contact dito sa imong kuan good sa imong human waste murag paglabay nimo ba murag makita ni may mukhang ano good syempre ibutang man nimo siya ibutang man nimo sa lupa imong imuhang pag na human waste so na kay direct contact pag labay nimo makita ni may mukhang human waste murag ana kud murag unpleasant so mo na wala siya ginaalaw sa other countries or mga uban na mga kay murag ano daw siya lagi mo to ganina unpleasant siya and dili siya pwede alternative sa waste treatment system hindi siya oldest kani siya and most basic methods of waste disposal so una siya una gina-collect niya yung body waste solid waste remain and partially decomposed so that the pit becomes full over several years depending on size and the number of users ano siya. So next we have the composting toilets. So what is composting? Composting toilets. Wait lang guys. So composting toilet is a self-contained waste treatment system that uses natural biological decomposition to convert toilet waste into water vapor, carbon dioxide, and a stable compost-like end product. It consists of a toilet seat and cover over a riser that connects to a compartment or vault that receives, holds, and converts human toilet waste and other composing materials. The decomposition process in a composting toilet is achieved by aerobic oxygen using bacteria and fungi. The complex population of microorganisms in the composting material makes conditions unfavorable for the growth of disease, causing organisms that can be present in human waste. Pathogenic organisms die off or are consumed by the composting organism as long as the composting process is proceeding normally and has an adequate time to work. To produce a thoroughly decomposed compost product, three conditions are necessary. Microorganisms that decompose the waste need oxygen to flourish, so the process must remain aerobic. The compost must be maintained at the correct moisture content. Temperature must be maintained above 60 degrees Fahrenheit for composting to proceed effectively. So there are two types of composting toilets, the bi-level composting toilet, the self-contained composting toilets, and the incinerating toilet. So the bi-level composting toilets are relatively large two-story water-light containers equipped with a chute that connects the toilet receptacle to the composting unit located in the basement. The bottom of the composting unit often has an inclined floor where solid waste decompose and slide to the lower end as new waste enters at the upper end. Excess liquid is drained to the lowest part of the tank where it is either evaporated or collected and removed. So, composing toilets hold and process waste material to capture the nutrients in human waste, such as nitrogen and phosphorus for local reuse. A composting toilet provides an alternative to flush toilets by disposing of human waste while minimizing the use of water by mixing the waste with sawdust, peat moss, or coconut coir, and venting the flow of air outward. The toilet eliminates odor through an anaerobic processing system. So, So the second type of composting toilet is a smaller unit in which the toilet receptacle and composting tank comprise a single self-contained unit located on the bathroom floor. These units have traditionally been installed for intermittent use such as in vacation homes. Incinerating toilets are self-contained waterless systems that do not require being hooked up to a sewer system or an in-ground septic system except to dispose of wastewater. They rely on electric power or natural or propane gas to incinerate human waste to sterile clean ash. When properly installed, these systems are simple to use, safe, clean, and relatively easy to maintain. Basically, kaning ano guys, kaning composting toilets, mao ni sila ang kanang toilet nga murag ano lang siya kanang nakabutang lang gani siya. Murag same lang gyapon siya sa toilet na makita nato sa tumbalay. Pero kani siya wala na siya use sa water, murag ano na siya ba, murag it is one way po of conserving water kay ang toilet na ni dili na gud siya kailangan ug murag alternative siya sa flush ba di ba kung ang toilet nato sa balay is kanang need pa nato og flush, kanang need pa siya water para mawala tong human waste. So kaning ano siya, kaning self-contained composting ay kaning composting toilet is kanang water siya, ay toilet siya nga naa didto sa sulod sa toilet na ay mga kanang tawagan naman um sawdust, peat moss or coconut core, and venting the flow of air outward. So naa siya mga coconut core, then pag kapag magbawas na ang tao kay ano na kanang pagbawas sa tao magstay lang didto ang kanang human waste, pero dili siya mag-amoy murag dili gud siya mag-amoy kay naay ginabutang katong coconut, murag mao to siya ang pamaagi para murag dili gud mag-amoy katong mga ginabutang didto. So after nimo use atong composting toilets kay naa siya ikuan sa gilid, murag pinduton nimo siya nga i-roll, murag turn nimo siya katulo para murag mag-mix imuhang human waste dito sa mga materials nga naa dito sa kanang composting toilets, itong mga sawdust, peat moss. Then ang kaano pa gid ani guys kay pwede na to siya magamit, pwede siyang mag-stay ang human waste dito na walay odor mga 3 to 4 weeks before nimo siya malabay, tapos wala siya odor ana gud murag nag-conserve kag water pod, murag pamaagi pod siya nga nag-conserve kag water since walay water na gina-use para ma-flush tong imong human waste. And then ang kani pod siya nga composting toilets pod, pag mag-ihi daw ang lalaki gina-require nga murag maglingkod ang lalaki kay ang composting toilets naa siya part na maano gud niya kanang murag malahi niya ang liquid from solid. So naay part dito nga murag dapat maglingkod na ang lalaki mag-ihi kay para ang ihang urine dito maadto sa part sa composting toilet nga paduan gud sa urine ana gud siya. So mao na siya. Tapos pag mahuman na, pag nakuha 3 to 4 weeks na nga murag gusto nimo kung matanggal na gud mga human waste nimo dito sa composting toilet, pwede nimo siya ibutang sa garbage bag. Katong ingon ako ganina nga murag kaning guys, alternative wastewater treatment system kay murag dili siya kaayo, for example ning PV or latte nga kailangan nato siyang pit, murag dili kayo siya kuan ba, murag wala kay siya gina-allow sa uban kay naagod kay murag ana man andisan siya tan-awon kay murag naa kay direct contact sa imong human waste. Kay katong sa composting toilet pag once na humana ka dito 4 weeks na murag feel mo puno na imong composting toilets, ibutang nimo siya sa garbage bag nya makita nimo imong naa kay direct contact gani sa imong human waste, so murag ato paglabay nimo. Pero okay man nun siya kay murag maka-conserve sa water, at the same time dili pa jud mag-amoy ang paligid nga miskan naa dira imong human waste kay murag naay pamaagi nga like for example tong mga sodas na nakabutang dito sa composting toilet yung dili siya mag-amoy. Ibang mo na-conserve pud kag water kini okay niya ginamutang nila. Ito na siya dili sa sulod. Pwede ka dira bawas o kaya mag-ihi anak good. Next we have the holding tanks. The holding tanks are used for wastewater disposal when soil slope, lot size, groundwater, or other features on the site render all other tank or drainage field solutions impossible to achieve. They are used as a method of last resort in vacation homes or other short-term use facilities. Holding tanks are rarely used in facilities that generate wastewater on a daily basis. So, di ba, ang septic tank is an element of a system that deals with with and manage just wastewater when there is no pre-existing sewage system. A holding tank is another waste management system. So same lang sa septic tank nga waste management system that is used by people living in rural areas. Also named a wastewater holding tank or black tank. These tanks differ from septic tank as they do not have any pipes or filters which allows the wastewater to filter back into the soil. Most of the waste found inside of a holding tank consists of liquid effluent. This creates an increased risk of freezing compared to standard septic tanks. While holding tanks are not the preferred type of systems, it may be the only alternative in some cases. So mauna siya guys, mauna siya alternative lang ni sila tanan ning composing toilets ning holding tanks o kaning PV og latrine. Kay kuan man siya kanang ano good mark dili ka siya preferred type system sa mga tao kay syempre murag kuan man siya. Parang there na may mga system gyud nga kanang makaingon ka nga reliable gani siya kanang murag kanang deals jud gamani jud sa wastewater then kanang murag ano gyud siya ba kana murag safe to use siya og dili siya unpleasant pud good tan-awon. Pero kaning alternative wastewater kani sila okay man safe man gyapon ni sila gamiton pero naa lang gyud mga as what I said alternative lang gyud siya sa mga alternative lang gyud siya sa mga wastewater system. So mo to thank you question.